After this video, you will know exactly how to counter Versusia's fireball. The biggest weakness of Versusia's fireball is that it has high total frames, so she's stuck in the animation longer than similar moves. This extra time lets you get better rewards than usual on reaction. Not to mention that every single version is reactable once you're about one Colosseum tile or one character away from her. So look out for Versusia holding 2 key blasts in the air, then combining them to catch the startup. Is it just me, or does this move really look like something Broly would do? Another weakness is that Versusia's fireball never goes full screen. So here are 4 options that will let you take advantage of these weaknesses. Crossover. At most ranges, a crossover should dodge this projectile, while closing the gap between you and Versusia. Here's what happens when you react on frame 20. You should be around +4 against the light version, +9 against medium, heavy would make you +2, and ultimate would leave you at about +10. Because frame 20 in real time is actually earlier on in the slowdown startup. A well-timed crossover always makes it your turn, even getting you punished with a 9 frame heavy against the medium and ultimate versions. But the differences between the light and medium version can be hard to see. A way to tell the difference is checking the distance that Versusia moves backward. Light's backward movement is really far, at about 1 tile, while all of the other versions are less than 1 tile. And even if you mistake light for medium, your 9 or less frame attack is likely to come out before any of hers anyway. But make sure that your move is in range after she moves backwards. If I find out about any other way to see the difference consistently, or any additional tips, I'll put it in the pinned comment. Versusia's medium, heavy, and ult fireball lag for a bit after reaching their max range, so you could dodge into them and still get hit. The range of this move is between 2 and 2.5 tiles, apart from the light version that's a little shorter at 2 tiles. So try not to end up at the edge of this move's range when you are dodging, in order to avoid a lingering fireball. Jumping. Versusia's fireball isn't slow enough to do a jumping on reaction, but jumpings on a read are more lethal against Versusia than your average all-rounder character. Versusia doesn't have a meterless special that cannot be blocked in the air, and she's got a botch crouching heavy, since it starts up in 13 frames instead of the usual 11. This makes it harder for her to react with an anti-air, especially if you're mixing it up between normal jumps, super jumps, and moves that can switch up the timing of her jumping. And remember to block while jumping until you're sure that your jumping attack will land. This trick will let you block a fireball, the diagonal beam which is her forward special, or her pillar that I covered in a previous video. Invincibility. So once you've closed the gap, your main might be able to cheese Versusia with invincibility or similar effects like armor or parries and reaction. Preferably, this attack should have these traits on frame 1 to 3 to give you the most time to react and lower the chances of getting counter hit. A fast ultimate fireball or teleport. Because her fireballs have higher total frames than normal and limited range, it's easier to react with a fast, long-reaching move, like an ultimate fireball that can tear through it. If you're around 2 tiles away from Versusia, you should have enough time to react with your ultimate fireball against the normal versions. Another weakness of her fireball is that the light, medium, and heavy versions all lose to heavy fireballs that have 3 hits, while Versusia's ultimate fireball is as strong as the other ultimate ones. Another option on 50% meter is a teleport, like Narmaya's ultimate back special when you're spaced out enough to give it time to start up. This fireball is reactable, but Versusia's heavy back special is basically unreactable. It has the same reach as her fireball, not to mention that it can convert into a corner combo and hit, while it can be safe on block. I will cover exactly how to beat this in a future video, so subscribe to see that as soon as it drops. Backup plan. Now that you know how to react to Versusia's fireball, here's a backup plan for when you don't or can't react to it. When you block it right beside Versusia, the light and ultimate versions are -4, medium is -7, while heavy is +4, and it gets even more plus with some more distance. So it's your turn when you block every version except heavy at that range. And the medium version is minus enough for a punish with one of your 7 frame or less moves, like a crouching medium. At a distance, light and mount become plus pretty quickly at about half a tile away, but medium needs a 1.5 tile distance to be plus. And remember that it's always Versusia's turn after you air block it. When you block the heavy fireball, it goes on cooldown for around 9 seconds, and for ultimate, it's 5 seconds. If she has her follow-ups available, that's another problem. When you block any version except ultimate fireball, Versusia can slam down from above, making her +5 and in striking distance. If the Versusia player delays his follow-up just right, it can frame trap you with a small gap. Otherwise, it's a true block string. But this is pretty hard to time. So far, I have only gotten it to work on the light and medium version, and it's easier to do on the medium version. The timing and range seems to be right when the orb disappears, after someone blocks it, close to the fireball's max range. If you're a mad lad and you expect them to delay it, you could try to use an invincible move, or a spot dodge that will leave you around +9, but a crossover won't work. If you have the tech to do the delay more consistently, tell me in the comments please. The true block strings that I found are point blank, close medium into medium, heavy, or ultimate fireball, triple attack into heavy fireball, and crouching heavy into heavy fireball. So you're free to guess or react, and try to cheese your block strings with stuff like invincibility and dodges, apart from those true block strings. Also, Versusia's normals into a fireball can create a lot of distance, like 2.5 tiles from a close heavy into a light fireball, so your move might not reach in some cases. Here are some situations when you get hit. If they do the follow-up, they can do a crouching light, then a jump for a safe jump. Since the medium, heavy, and ultimate versions stick around for a while, they can do a meaty hit on your wake up, after knockdowns like a throw or an air recovery. But medium will actually exit the stage if it's in the corner. If it's not a hard knockdown, you can try to recover backwards to throw off their setup. And if the knockdown is short or close enough, look out for opportunities where your character might be able to get the drop on her, with moves that have parry properties, invincibility, or armor, before Versusia can get a chance to act first. Do you want to see more fighting game guides that will level up your play? Then subscribe right away. This video is brought to you by my Patreon members, like Mustafa CH, Office Flirt,